Harry Potter X Reincarnated as a Slime by HollowKnight. Rimuru entered Dumbledore's office hoping that this visit won't take too long. He was comfortable laying with Seal. And if Dumbledore says the wrong thing, then he's going to have to count on Ranga and Seal to keep not only their cool but also keep Ultima and Carrera calm as well. Once he's at the door and about to open said door, Rimuru hears what appears to be arguing before the door swings open. Looking inside, Rimuru sees not only Dumbledore but Moody and Fudge. Fudge. "Ah, Rimuru, how are you?" Rimuru is about to reply, but before he can, Dumbledore acts first. Dumbledore. "Well, we'll have to save the pleasantries for a later date if you would." Dumbledore and Moody, as if in perfect sync, show Fudge the way out, leaving Rimuru alone in the office. Dumbledore. "Oh, do help yourself to some sweets, but be careful, those ones there tend to bite back if you are not quick enough." Dumbledore points to some dark candies in a bowl that's sitting on a table as he and the other two wizards leave Rimuru, who to their knowledge is alone. As Rimuru looks around looking at the candy, Dumbledore pointed him to looking down at it as he sees it move slightly, almost like a worm. Rimuru. "Yeah, no, painting. A wise decision, youngster." Rimuru looks back at this, not too shocked at the talking paintings but more in shock that under the painting says former headmaster and then the name. But Rimuru finds it weird to have a painting of a past headmaster, but two others who are watching in the shadows or more in Rimuru's shadow react differently. Ultima. "Did that painting just talk Carrera?" "Yeah. Both. I wonder if we can get that but with a picture of Rimuru-sama." Ranga simply tilts his head as Rimuru just looks around the office bored. Why would Dumbledore call him here when he was just going to leave? With this on his mind, Rimuru sees a bird sitting on a perch as he walks over to said bird. Its red and gold feathers beautifully shining as if on fire, yet not. Rimuru. "This is a phoenix seal. Husband." Dumbledore is approaching. Rimuru. "Thank you." Choosing to return to standing next to the candy, Rimuru leans on the table as Dumbledore enters his office, seeing Rimuru had been waiting for him and hadn't gone snooping to a degree that would allow him to see what he had left open. Dumbledore. "Rimuru, please this way." Rimuru watched as Dumbledore raises his hand, motioning to his desk and to a chair as Dumbledore has already begun to make his way to behind his desk. Taking his seat, Rimuru follows suit, not wanting to give the man a reason to complain more than what he already feels like is going to happen. Dumbledore. "I'm sorry to say this, my boy, as it would make it appears as if I'm putting suspicion on you, but I must ask, have you met Barty Crouch?" Seeing the look of confusion on Rimuru's face, Dumbledore sighs to himself. He is sure they've met, but perhaps they hadn't met in the more talkative way he had been hoping for. Dumbledore. "Well, at any rate, he was found dead this evening." It is with this that the gears in Rimuru's and Ciel's head begin to turn, and they both believe they know where this is going. Dumbledore. "He apparently beforehand been mumbling about meeting the two of us and giving us a warning. Would you happen to know anything?" Rimuru. "You said he had been saying he needed to meet with us, as in you and me. Seeing how I didn't even know his name until 5 seconds ago, I'm inclined to believe you would know more about this situation than me." Rimuru's subconscious smirks. All this time of putting up with people has really helped him, though he swears he heard Ciel just giggle at his subconscious smirk. But anyway, Rimuru really thinks Dumbledore knows more than what he's saying. Rimuru. "Just telling me out of the blue that some guy died and he wanted to meet with me before he had died. I am getting the feeling that this isn't going to bode well for me." Dumbledore looks at Rimuru once more. His eyes gain that twinkle before it disappears. Dumbledore. "Once more, I cannot enter your mind. I had hoped that perhaps giving you news of a death and them wanting to meet you would get you to lower your guard from shock. I see now that was wrong, the knowledge in that head of yours." Dumbledore looks at Rimuru before he leans back in his seat. Dumbledore. "It is a strange situation, you must understand this. Above all, I'm concerned with why he wanted to meet with you." Rimuru. "Meet with us?" Dumbledore. "Yes, of course, meet with us. My mistake and his sudden death. Mind you, I don't believe you did anything or any of your friends. But I'm concerned, Rimuru, you may be in some kind of danger. People do not just drop dead, you see." Rimuru. "What do you want from me?" Dumbledore. "I'm simply offering you a helping hand. I'm sure you could use one in this world." Rimuru. "While I appreciate the offer, I don't need the help. I'm more than capable of defending myself both physically and I've done some light reading. I think I'm good on the political end as well." Rimuru. "So long as I don't let any of you find out the truth of me being a slime." Dumbledore. "I see." Dumbledore had not wanted to hear that, but little does he know that it was Ciel who had told Rimuru to say that. Rimuru just trusts Ciel to know better, and it's not completely untrue now, though. Following Ciel's words once more, Rimuru's eyes narrow. Just this act alone seems to catch Dumbledore off guard as he leans back. Dumbledore. I simply just wanted to know if there was a way I could help you. This threat to you may be something you alone may not be able to handle, and you never know who could be against you. Rimuru. Did you perhaps in the back of your mind think that one of my friends had done it, even though you just said you didn't believe that that was what had happened? The way you're wording everything is causing me to believe the opposite. This catches Dumbledore off guard. Maybe the last thing he had said wasn't the right words, but for Rimuru he is doing just as Seal has told him to sound dangerous. Dumbledore immediately catches this and knows that he must play his cards correctly to keep Rimuru from doing something. After all, he doesn't know how temperamental he can be or what he's really capable of. He made a dragon behave like a dog, and the mermaids fear him now as well. With this knowledge, Dumbledore decides to be careful. Dumbledore. I did not. I had simply been worried. I apologize if that is what I made it seem like I was getting at. Rimuru looks at Dumbledore, but for Dumbledore it's almost as if he's being watched for any sudden movements or reaction by a monster far stronger than he can fathom. It's as if he's being watched in all directions until this feeling goes away simply by a smile appearing on Rimuru's face. Rimuru. Good, I just want you to know that we have a rule about this sort of stuff, so I can promise you none of us did anything. If that's all, Headmaster, I'll be going. Rimuru gets to his feet and begins to walk out until Dumbledore calls to him. Dumbledore. Just one more thing, if you wouldn't mind. Rimuru doesn't even turn around, he simply stands still, but he does turn his head and looks Dumbledore straight in the eye. Dumbledore. If you could, please keep an eye out for anything suspicious and do be careful. Rimuru. Sure. With this, Rimuru leaves Dumbledore alone in his office. Dumbledore. Well, it's not much, but his last smile seemed to be genuine. So perhaps I'm getting closer to earning his trust, though I didn't expect him to accuse me of thinking one of his friends did it. I think I should be able to earn his trust and alliance if I'm careful. For now, this will have to do. Rimuru has exited Dumbledore's office and looks back at the griffin door. Oh, my God, how did I never notice that? Rimuru looks back with a slight glare. He didn't like that conversation. And it's made worse by the feeling that Dumbledore could turn this unfortunate event on him and even possible pin it on him. This place seems to have enough issues. Why not throw crooked headmasters in the mix? That said, Rimuru looks down at his shadow. Rimuru. Well, at least they behaved themselves. That's good news. Turning a corner, Rimuru sees an empty hallway, but Rimuru knows better. Thanks to his magic sense, he quickly raises his left hand and catches a ball that was thrown at him and dodges the next by leaning back as the ball that was dodges hits the wall and explodes in green slime. Rimuru tosses the ball he caught up and down before throwing it back at the two who threw the two balls first as it hits and explodes, covering the two red-haired brothers as Rimuru looks to the side towards them. Rimuru. It's Fred and George, right? Not bad. Rimuru's eyes flicker towards his shadow, seeing it flinch slightly as if it was retreating under his gaze before he looks back at the two brothers and gives a lazy wave as he walks away. Rimuru. But maybe you should pick your targets a bit better. And with this, Rimuru leaves the two brothers covered in their own slime. Fred. George. Yes, Fred. Did we just lose in one go? George. This must be a nightmare. Meanwhile, Rimuru has both hands in his pockets as he walks up the stairs back to his group's room. Rimuru. Yeah, no. I had a thought. Seal. What is it? Rimuru. My magic sense allows me to see basically everything around me, right? Seal begins to wonder where Rimuru is going with this. Rimuru. And then we can slow things down to react better, right, and to think things through. Seal. Yes, Rimuru. It's kinda like spider sense, isn't it? Seal. I suppose you might be able to look at it that way. Rimuru. And I can basically shoot webs, right? Seal. Where are you? Husband. No, Rimuru. Spider slime. Seal. Rimuru. Spectacular spider slime. Seal. Husband. Rimuru. Oh, come on, it's fun. Seal. Not that you've become distracted. We've been standing at the door to our room for a total of 2 minutes. Rimuru. Oh. Rimuru enters the room slightly embarrassed. He swears he was using thought acceleration. So how long was he singing the spectacular spider slime? This is what he gets for having fun. Walking inside, he sees Diablo has already pre-made tea for him, and Seal as Shuna seems to have somehow gotten a stove in this room. Rimuru. How did you do that? Rimuru points to the stove that Shuna is currently cooking with as she looks over and smiles. Shuna. It was a gift from Sirius. He had his house elf bring it and Diablo helped to make it usable, though I must say, creature is rather rude. Sheehan. HMPH, he's lucky he got away when he did. I was about to introduce him to Hercules' Edge. Rimuru. That might have been an issue, oh well. Chloe. So, did Dumbledore want something, or was it just a social visit? Rimuru. Well, apparently. One moment, you two can come out now. With this, Ultima and Carrera both come out from Rimuru's shadow. Rimuru raises a finger to Chloe, letting her know to give him a second as he turns to the two girls. Rimuru. You did good, but would you mind telling me what the issue was with those two brothers? Ultima. They threw something at you. The group perks up, confused more than anything. Carrera. We weren't going to hurt them too badly. Ultima nods her head rapidly as Rimuru sighs. Rimuru. These two, shaking his head. Rimuru looks at the two. Rimuru. Just try not to react like that. If you had done something, who knows what could end up happening. Rimuru turns back to Chloe to explain what had happened, and after doing so, Chloe comes to the conclusion that Dumbledore was probably planning to use this death against them. To get a favor or something like that. With a shrug, Rimuru says it's not too important right now, but it is something to keep in mind at the same time, and chooses to enjoy Diablo tea as Seal appears on the outside once more to sit beside him as they all wait for Shuna to finish cooking. Rimuru being happy that Shion seems to upset with whatever creature did, and whatever that is. Rimuru both thanks and pities the house elf. As for why Rimuru is happy, it means Shion isn't cooking while she makes good food. The looks matter to Rimuru. Takes a sip as Seal seems to watch him. After a few moments, the girls all begin talking as Rimuru begins to think. Rimuru. The next task will be starting soon. I'm betting that it's going to start once that maze is finished growing. Wonder what I'll encounter there. Well, whatever, doubt it will be as bad as anything I am used to. Actually, now that I'm remembering what I'm used to, I can't help but wonder. Rimuru looks towards Diablo, curiosity clear on his face as Diablo begins to worry he had done something wrong. He knows the look of curiosity on his lord's face, but to him that could mean all sorts of things. It could be curiosity at a mistake Diablo made unknowingly. Rimuru. Diablo listens to his lord's voice, soft, but it's clear he has something that just dawned on him, so Diablo readies himself to do whatever it is that Rimuru asks of him. If it be to conquer this world and hand it to Rimuru, so be it. If it's to fold the blankets in the shape of his lord's choosing, he is ready. Rimuru. I want you to go to Rita. Try and have her find some information for me. Diablo. And, if I may ask, Rimuru-sama, what information would you like? Rimuru. I want you to have her look for information on a family called the Dursleys. She may have to go to normal human papers, but I'm betting the prophet has something. Diablo gives a slight bow. He had overheard a few conversations from a few teachers that spoke about Rimuru and how he had died the first time. He only hopes Rimuru will let him punish the fools before he leaves to follow his lord's orders. As Ultima and Carrera wonder who the Dursleys are, however, for Shuna, Shion, and Chloe, and even Ranga, who have overheard a few conversations about Rimuru and have been sure to put the fear of God into the more dumb people, they know a bit of what happened and want nothing more than to do what Shion and Diablo did to Rita, only with it being a million times worse abuse. And abuse of Rimuru-sama before he could do anything. That is all they know, besides the fact that he suffered a death in their care, but the rage they have for that alone seem to know no bounds, so they all wait for Diablo to return and to see what is and what had become of the Dursleys. Rimuru lays on his bed with a small slime ball in his hand, tossing it up and then catching it, repeating this over and over again as he waits for Diablo to come back with information about the Dursleys. Rimuru looks to the side, seeing Chloe brushing Ranga's fur, Shuna and Shion talking about clothing that sends a shiver down Rimuru's non-existent spine, and Seal is back to being merged with Rimuru, for now becoming bored with the slime ball. Rimuru uses his universal thread. This catches the eyes of Ultima and Carrera as they watch what Rimuru does. Rimuru begins making shapes, one of Tokyo Tower, then one of the Eiffel Tower, and then one of the Statue of Liberty, then one of Big Ben. Then he becomes bored of this, luckily before he gets bored enough to turn into a slime and start bouncing around. Diablo has returned with some papers. Diablo. I've returned. Rimuru-sama. Rimuru. Finally, Diablo. Rimuru-sama, I've returned with the information you requested. Rimuru. All right, let's hear it. Diablo. As it so happens, the adult Dursleys, Vernon and Petunia, are both dead. Rimuru. I'm sorry, what? Diablo. They're dead, and their son appears to have been in foster care for more than a year from the time frame. I'd say they were killed the day you would have turned 11 should you have lived in this world. Rimuru. That's... wow. Rimuru looks to the others who have paid attention to Diablo's report, probably looking for a way to make their lives a living hell for killing him in his first life, but now some of them don't know how to react. Veldora looks annoyed he won't get to do whatever he had planned, but is more than content to go back to his manga. That is right after he looks at Rimuru and gazing his reaction to the news. Rimuru. What caused their deaths? Diablo. A shooting. It appears they had just left the zoo for their son's birthday and had plans to go out to eat. As they arrived at the restaurant, as the paper says, Madman ran up and started shooting people. He was then taken into custody only after he ran out of bullets, and several deaths. Rimuru looks at Diablo completely in shock. This was not what he had been expecting at all. They've been dead and no one said anything. Rimuru. Well. Can't say I was expecting that news. Rimuru takes a moment to try and gather himself to say something. Rimuru. What do you say when you find out that your killer, former uncle, is dead? Rimuru opens his mouth to give a reply, that is, until there is some yelling outside the door. Rimuru looks to Diablo, who walks over to the door and opens it, seeing Dumbledore stand at the door with students who are arguing loudly down the hallway about something. Rimuru. Looks like some students just got in trouble. Walking out to Great Dumbledore, Rimuru can see the wall behind him is green. Rimuru. Oh yeah, definitely in trouble. Dumbledore. I thought it best to let you know that final task is tomorrow night. Please prepare yourself. Good day. Rimuru looks at Dumbledore, who simply turns around and leaves. Seal. Husband, his body far more stiff than before. Rimuru. Oh, something's gonna go down. He didn't even try to read my mind this time. Seal. Seal. Yes, Rimuru. Make sure to be on high alert for this task, all right? Seal. Yes, Chloe. So this is it then, the final task and then the end of the tournament, then we can go home. Rimuru closes the door, then turns to face Chloe. Rimuru. I wonder about that. Everyone looks to Rimuru, whose eyes aren't facing them but rather the door, wondering what's about to go down. Rimuru. So his body language, he didn't try to read my mind and he just told me about the task and left. He didn't even have to come here. Any ideas? Seal. Perhaps he believes you will die during this task and he wanted to subtly see if you were ready. Rimuru. But he didn't even attempt to read my mind. Rimuru sighs as he goes over to the bed and flood onto it. Rimuru. You said it was a maze, right, Chloe? Yes, Rimuru. Wonder if the mass will be enchanted to attack people or something. Letting his mind wander, Rimuru flips over and listens to the possible ideas everyone has about the maze. Rimuru walks around the castle, walking bored out of his mind, just trying to kill time until the final task begins, walking past a wall until Seal notifies him about something. Seal. Magic detected. Rimuru. What? Seal. The wall, it appears to be hiding something. Rimuru. I just found what we're doing today. Rimuru walks backwards. If anyone for love of Muggles music saw it would probably call him out for moonwalking as Rimuru turns and faces the wall. Rimuru. Let's open up what's hiding. Seal. Hi, and in about 3 minutes a door is revealed. Rimuru. Big door. Rimuru looks unimpressed as he enters the room, seeing junk piled up to the ceiling like people just walk in and throw stuff around here. Rimuru. What the hell? What is this, a dump for wizards? Rimuru stops himself from speaking another word as he feels something off. Rimuru. Seal. I felt it as well. Rimuru. So strange, there's definitely something dark in here. Rimuru glances down at his shadow. Rimuru. Ultima Carrera, come out here for a minute. The two demonesses poke their heads out of Rimuru's shadow before learning out of it and giving small bows to Rimuru. Ultima. You called us Rimuru-sama. Rimuru. Yeah, there's something here. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely dark, so we're gonna play a game to see who can find it first, and just in case anyone comes in here, I want you both to retreat back to my shadow or hide yourselves. Got it? Oh, but be sure to look for anything interesting. Who knows what else is in here. Carrera and Ultima. Hi, Rimuru-sama, and soon enough they all walk into different directions. Rimuru walks straight while Carrera goes left and Ultima goes right, all three looking around, well, all four counting Seal helping Rimuru. Carrera turns a corner before she stops in front of a Hogwarts uniform. Carrera. I've seen better with Ultima. She stops as she sees a glass with chocolate frogs moving around in it sitting on the floor. Ultima crouches down to watch them jump around, tilting her head confused by them until her eyes narrow and she looks up, seeing a case that looks like it holds something expensive. Meanwhile with Rimuru. Seal. Husband, no Rimuru, but I want to. Seal. We do not even know how it works. The two married couple are arguing over Rimuru riding one of the 5 broomsticks he found until he hears Ultima calling out saying she found something as Rimuru lets out a disappointed sigh and rushes over Carrera doing the same.
Rimuru. What did you find? Ultima points up on top of a pile of junk.
Ultima. Up there it's dark, I think it's a soul Carrera. Why would a soul be here? Maybe you just making it up to get more praise.
The two stare at each other as Rimuru shakes his head, sprouting wings and flying up to what Ultima pointed at and grabbing the box and opening it.
Rimuru. A crown seal. I believe it's actually a diadem. Rimuru. Oh. It's definitely got something wrong with it. I'm eat it. I want you to see what the deal with it is. Seal. Hi. Rimuru eats it as Seal begins to examine it. Landing back on the ground, Rimuru gets both Carrera and Ultima to go back into his shadow before.
Ultima. Rimuru-sama. Rimuru. What's up, Ultima? You said this was a game.
Was there a prize? Rimuru. Oh shit. Rimuru. Yes, it was. Huh. Ice cream. Ultima. Ice cream. With Rimuru-sama, Rimuru hesitantly nods as Carrera looks upset at the fact that she's not getting the prize while Rimuru is relieved that the two aren't fighting. Time skip. Rimuru is walking down a hallway and lets out a yawn before realizing that he should probably start heading to the last task. Rimuru puts his hands in his pockets and goes a bored look on his face. Time skip. Rimuru stands in front of the maze, the other champions lined up next to him. Veldora. Go Rimuru, go Rimuru. Shuna. Rimuru-sama, you can do this. Xian. Crush the competition. Rimuru-sama. Diablo. Is there any reason to doubt that Rimuru-sama will win? Chloe. Maybe go a little easy on them. Ranga. I don't understand what this is, but Master will be the victor. Yelling. That's what Rimuru hears, and somehow those six are the loudest, two of which aren't even yelling. Rimuru looks down to his shadow and for a split second he swears he sees Ultima and Carrera with Rimuru flags swinging them back and forth.
Dumbledore. Champions ready. As Dumbledore says this, all the champions get ready and wait for the signal. Expect Rimuru, who looks like he's about to just walk into the maze.
Rimuru. I get that it's a maze, but rushing in will only get you lost. Plus, I have the ever so lovely and useful Seal. Right, Seal? Seal. Hi. I will not fail you, husband. Unknown to Rimuru. Ciel's mental reaction to being called lovely is blocked. From him, Seal, if she had a body right now, would probably be giggling and blushing a storm all at the same time, while also giving a determined look. She will never fail her master, her love. She's been with him the longest. She will never allow herself to let him down. Once the signal is given, the wizard champions all rush in as Rimuru takes off in a light jog. Once they all enter the maze, Rimuru hears something, turning to see that the maze's entrance is closed. Rimuru. Well, that's unfortunate. Seal. For who exactly? Rimuru goes back to his jogging, turning a corner. Rimuru. Don't you already know it's unfortunate for the students? Who do you think I meant? I didn't mean us. Seal. I know. Rimuru. What did you wish to hear? How much faith I have in you. Seal. Perhaps. Rimuru chuckles at this and stops as he sees a dead end in front of him.
Rimuru. Okay. Rimuru turns to see the maze had changed and now behind him is a dead end, as behind him to open up.
Rimuru. Okay, first, that's bullshit. Second, that would be a pretty cool defense for Tempest. Not that we really need it, but still. Rimuru takes off jogging again, looking for a path he can take that can get him the way he wants to go rather than backtracking. As outside the maze, Moody watches Rimuru, his fake eyes spinning around as he takes out a flask and takes a big swig of what's in it. Rimuru walks through the maze following Fuel's directions because of course he is. He arrives in front of a sphinx. Sphinx. First, think of the person who lives in disguise, who deals in secrets and tells not but lies. Next, tell me what's always the last thing to mend. The middle of middle and end of the end. And finally, give me the sound often heard during the search for a hard-to-find word. Now string them together and answer me this. Which creature would you be unwilling to kiss? Rimuru. A riddle. Sphinx. You may remain silent and I will allow you to leave. Answer correctly and you may pass unharmed. Answer with the wrong answer and I shall attack. Rimuru. Let's see, it seems to be referring to a seal. Spider. Rimuru. Alright, then I'll copy what you say. Rimuru. The answer is a spider, so judging from what I know and that riddle of yours, the big bad at the end of this maze guarding the cup is Acromantula. Sphinx. You may pass. Rimuru walks past, eyes still on the Sphinx just in case, and soon enough the Sphinx is no longer in Rimuru's direct line of sight. Rimuru continues walking. Rimuru. Acromantula. Those were the giant spiders, right? Seal. Yes. Rimuru. Seal. Husband. Rimuru. I know, no naming. Rimuru continues walking until the opening in front of him closes, leaving no opening to go through. Rimuru. Okay, this is getting old. The maze seems to move away from Rimuru case. The Acromantula appears as if having jumped from the other side. Rimuru. We really gonna do this? Rimuru receives no reply. Rimuru. Well, you're rude. Rimuru uses thought acceleration. Rimuru. I doubt they expect students to fight this thing. Wait, now that I think about it, isn't there a spell for stunning these things or something? Seal. Perhaps an opening exists to allow for escape. Rimuru. Mind having a look around? Seal. Hi. Seal. Found it directly behind the Acromantula. The maze wall behind it is thinner enough for someone to get through. Rimuru. Okay, then the conversation ends, as does the though acceleration as the Acromantula jumps towards Rimuru, who slides under it. Rimuru is now on the side he wants to be on, and the Acromantula is on the other. As it turns around, it finds itself unable to move as strings have it trapped. Rimuru. Sorry, but I really don't have time to play with you. Don't worry, they'll disappear as soon as I'm gone. Rimuru smirks and moves through where Seal pointed him, appearing on the other side. Once he's in the other side, the Acromantula drops to the ground. As Rimuru looks directly ahead, he sees the cup. It's not too close, but nice job, and he'll get it. Rimuru. Looks like we have a winner. Rimuru takes a few steps before ducking as a spell goes flying past him. Rimuru looks up to see one of the students running for the cup. Rimuru. Oh no, you don't! Running after him, Rimuru lifts his hand and one more. The moonlight catches the universal thread. Rimuru quickly catches the student in his thread and had him up off the ground. What is this, Rimuru? My own brand of payback. Just stay there and try not to move too much. Don't want you getting cut. The student looks at Rimuru, worry clear in his eye. Rimuru. Well, later Rimuru goes to grab the cup. Wait. Why do you want to win? You don't even belong to this world anymore. This shouldn't mean anything to you. Rimuru. You're right, and it doesn't, but something about all this feels wrong, and I have a feeling if I win this and grab this cup, I'll figure out why I was brought here. So later. Rimuru walks in front of the cup, and right as he is about to grab it, releases the student who tried to catch him but is delayed as Rimuru grabs the cup and is teleported out. A port key? The cup was a port key? Rimuru's feet land softly on a patch of grass. Looking around, it appears that Rimuru has been brought to a graveyard. Welcome, Harry Potter, or should I say Rimuru Tempest? Rimuru looks to the right, seeing a snake-like man approaching him. Rimuru. Who are you? A shame, I thought you would know me, or perhaps your fame has completely overshadowed my own dying and coming back. Rather impressive honesty. You found a way to cheat death. Rimuru. Oh. So that's who you are. Voldemort. Yes, Lord Voldemort has returned, and it's all thanks to your first death, though it did take a while to break the protection over your coffin. I had even begun to believe that maybe you weren't actually dead, so I sent one of my loyal followers to put your name in the Goblet of Fire. Imagine my surprise. Then when you return and prove that you did in fact die, luckily the spells keeping your old body safe was also keeping your old body in a sort of stasis, so I was able to get what I needed. Rimuru. How good for you, Voldemort, and bad for you. Rimuru lets out a sigh before he raises his hand and points said hand behind him as universal thread shoots out, wrapping around a small puggy man as Rimuru looks at the snake-like eyes of Voldemort. Rimuru. So between being a killer/madman, you're also a grave robber and a coward who would rather relay on a sneak attack. Voldemort lets out a noise that sounds like a mix between a growl and a snake hissing as dark mist surrounds the three of them as men in black robes appear from the mist. Voldemort. I suppose I should clarify, he wasn't meant to kill you, he was meant to make sure you didn't try to leave. Rimuru. Like I'm going to do that, Voldemort. Bravery. Voldemort chuckles to himself as if recalling a fond memory. Voldemort. Your parents had it. To Rimuru raises an eyebrow, realizing that Voldemort is trying to get a rise out of him. Rimuru. Like I'm going to fall for that, Rimuru. So, are we going to keep talking, or are we actually going to do something here? Voldemort. HMPH, very impatient, I wasn't expecting that. Voldemort lifts his hand as the body of Harry Potter behind to float and makes its way between the two of them. Rimuru. More mind games, Voldemort. It's eerie, isn't it, seeing your past in front of you? Shall I destroy it for you? Rimuru. Voldemort raises his wand and shoots out a spell right at the body before it hits. Rimuru's shadow moves and Ultima and Carrera appear, with Ultima basically bitch-slapping Voldemort's spell always, causing it to fly into a Reaper-like headstone as it destroys the Reaper. Voldemort. Ultima. To attempt to destroy the body that once was Rimuru-sama. Carrera. You deserve to die horribly. A look of surprise and shock crosses Voldemort's face before he quickly masks it with the hope that no one saw it but Rimuru, Seal, Ultima and Carrera all noticed it. Voldemort. It appears you had a trick hidden, Rimuru. Ultima, could you bring my old body here for a minute? Voldemort, irritated at being annoyed, begins to raise his wand once more, before deciding to see what is about to happen. Ultima. Hi. Ultima gently lifts the body of Harry Potter and behind, walking towards Rimuru as Rimuru lifts his hand up once Ultima is in front of Rimuru and stores the body in his stomach. Shocking everyone save for the two demonesses and Seal. Seal. Notice foreign soul is in the body, shall I destroy? Rimuru. A foreign soul, Seal. Yes, Rimuru. Is it like me, someone who died and reincarnated? Only they got a used body. Seal. No, it appears to have a connection to Voldemort. I believe it is a Horcrux. Rimuru. Wait. I had a Horcrux in me. Destroy it. Seal. Right away, and in an instant Voldemort takes a step back as he feels like one of his Horcruxes had been destroyed. Rimuru. Ultima. Carrera. I'll leave those robe-wearing idiots to you two. The snake boy is mine. Before anything, a sound catches the three's attention as they all jump out of the way of a snake that leapt at them. Rimuru watches as the snake hisses at him and the other two. Rimuru. All right, change of plans. The snake and the snake man are mine. Ultima and Carrera nod and immediately take off to go handle the robe-wearing idiots as Rimuru put it, leaving Rimuru alone with Voldemort and his pet snake. Voldemort. You think those two girls can handle my followers? Followers of the most powerful Dark Lord to ever exist. Rimuru. Dark Lord, huh? Well, to be perfectly honest, I myself was. Well, kinda still am a Demon Lord. Actually, I kinda like the sound of that Dark Lord versus Demon Lord. Rimuru smiles a bit as Voldemort sneers. Rimuru. So, shall we begin? For the first time, Rimuru begins to let loose a bit of his magical energy since coming here, and for the first time since regaining his body, Voldemort begins to feel nervous. Rimuru jumps as a spell hits a tombstone that was behind him, landing back on the ground with a smirk as Voldemort growls. Rimuru jumps to the side as Voldemort's pet snake tries to bite him again. Rimuru. So, question, what's with the snake? Does it have a name? Voldemort, instead of answering, shoots another killing curse at Rimuru, practically screaming the name of his favorite spell. Rimuru leans back as the spell flies past him. Rimuru. Why do you keep saying I want a banana? Do I look like I am going to give you food? Rimuru avoids the snake and a spell once more. Rimuru. Wow. He's not very talkative, is he? Rimuru dodges another spell and kicks the snake away. Rimuru. And what's is this guy saying? I swear it's I want a banana, but I don't remember a spell like that. Seal. Answer, he is saying Avada Kedavra. It is the killing curse, one of 3 unforgivable curses. Although he does appear to be saying it in an odd tone. Rimuru. So even my partner was confused by the way he's saying it. Seal. False, my confusion was just your imagination. Rimuru sighs as his flips onto a headstone and leaps off it, avoiding another spell, landing on the ground with a bored look. Rimuru. Hey. I don't mean to be rude, but are you even trying right now? Voldemort lets out a scream as he sends another spell at Rimuru, who looks annoyed as he simply lifts his right hand up as a black cloud comes out and devours the spell. Rimuru. Look, I'm getting tired of this, and you look like you've seen better days, Snake Boy. Voldemort flinches at seeing what just happened to his spell as he also gains a look of irritation at the way Rimuru is talking to him now. Seeing Rimuru close his eyes, Voldemort looks ready to snap before forcing himself to calm down. Idea comes to Voldemort's mind. Voldemort. I'll make him mad and have him make a mistake. Voldemort. You're as annoying as your father. No. If I were to say who you remind me more of, it would be your filthy mud blood mother. You both have annoying voices and don't know your places. Rimuru's eyes narrow at this. Rimuru. Can't say I agree. I never met her. Besides, I lived another life since then, so I don't know if I can really say she's my mom. Still, something about you saying that pisses me off. A multicolored aura surrounds Rimuru, making Voldemort flinch at the intense pressure coming from Rimuru before it disappears and a smirk appears on Rimuru's face. Rimuru. Yeah. That's perfect. Rimuru lifts his hands up, all fingers out. Rimuru. Take 10. I'm going to count to 5. Then I'll kill your snake. Then I'll count to 5 again. After that, you die. That said, if you attack me before I'm done, you both die without that 10 Seiko. Voldemort launches a spell at Rimuru, hitting him square in the jaw as Rimuru's head snaps back before Rimuru brings his head back down as a strong sense of fear comes over Voldemort. Rimuru. Looks like you don't want that 10 seconds. Rimuru raises his hand catching the snake just before it bite him as the same black mass that devoured Voldemort's spell devours the snake. Rimuru. Seal. Kill the snake please Seal. High Voldemort almost stumbles as he feels another Horcrux be destroyed. Voldemort. What is he's been playing this entire time? He's some sort of monster. Rimuru appears in front of Voldemort with his right hand pulled back swinging his fist at Voldemort. Rimuru hits Voldemort square in the jaw forcing Voldemort's head to the side and a crack is heard as Rimuru begins to brutally beat Voldemort down as Voldemort eventually takes so many punches his face is bruised and bloody. He also can no longer hold onto consciousness as his wand falls to the ground. The only thing holding Voldemort up now is Rimuru's grip on his robes. Rimuru. Guess wizards don't really fight hand to hand.
Rimuru lifts up his hand that's not holding Voldemort as Voldemort is devoured as well.
Seal. Report I am now able to destroy the remaining Horcruxes now thanks to the consumption of Voldemort. Shall I do so? Rimuru. Do it Seal. Hi, and with this order Voldemort's soul ceases to exist. Rimuru. Hey Ultima Carrera, you two done playing over there? Ultima happily runs up to Rimuru. Ultima. Yay, we just finished. They're still alive as well. What should we do with them? Rimuru. Well, we can't really let them go with what they've seen, but I don't think we can just keep them either. There's a few high up after all. Okay, I've got it.
Time skip. Rimuru appears back at the entrance to the maze with the cup.
Rimuru. I got the cup. Rimuru raises the Triwizard Cup in the air as cheers erupt as people begin to stand and clap alongside screaming their lungs out. After the cheering, Rimuru is pulled by the arm by Moody into his office. Moody. Tell me boy, what was it like to win the tournament you took up at getting back? Did anything happen? Moody turns his back to Rimuru and begins to go through a few things as Rimuru and Seal immediately realize what this is. A smirk appears on Rimuru's face. Rimuru. Oh yes. A snake thought it would try and bite me. Moody turns around quickly as Rimuru no longer has a smirk on his face and is looking at Moody calmly. Moody. I see, so then by snake you mean Rimuru, a Dark Lord everyone thought was dead. Moody's lips twitches slightly. Moody. I see, and Moody's head jerks to the side as he begins to search for something. Moody. In the graveyard. Was there anyone else in the graveyard? Rimuru. How could you know I was in a graveyard? Moody. Surely you're not stupid enough to have not been able to figure out what this is or who it was to have put your name in the Goblet of Fire, and imagine what my lord will say when he hears that I have killed Y. Boom, the door flies off its hinges as another spell flies into Moody, sending him into a chair as Rimuru looks to the side and sees Dumbledore, McGonagall and Snape all walk through the door surrounding Moody. Dumbledore immediately behind to question Moody, who begins to change as Rimuru looks over to the chest in the corner of the room which begins to shake. Rimuru. Oh. So that's where you were. Rimuru walks up to the chest as the teachers and the now revealed fake Moody watch him. Rimuru kicks the lid off the chest as it flies into the wall. Rimuru. You okay down there? The real Moody, who is in the chest, looks up at Rimuru, who sticks his hand down as thread shoots out just far enough that Moody can grab a hold of it. Rimuru. Grab it and don't let go. Moody does so as Rimuru brings him up with Moody now out of the cage. Rimuru looks back at the others. Rimuru. You guys got this right. I need to get ready to head home. See ya. With a wave goodbye, Rimuru walks out the door heading back to his temporary room, but halfway through Rimuru meets the others. Chloe. Rimuru-sensei, where did you go? Shuna. Did something happen? Rimuru-sama. Rimuru. I had something to take care of. By the way, we should get everything that's ours around. We'll be leaving soon. All. Hi, as they all make their way back to the room and begin getting ready to leave as Dumbledore sends a student to tell Rimuru that Dumbledore would like to talk to him. Rimuru soon arrives at Dumbledore's office as the Gryffindor staircase allows Rimuru to walk up it. After Rimuru says the password, having to meet with Dumbledore so many times, Seal memorized the password for Rimuru. Rimuru. You called for me. Rimuru opens the door and enters Dumbledore's office. As the two look into each other's eyes, Rimuru feels a something trying to enter his mind and Seal sighs, irritated at this happening again. Dumbledore. I would lee. A feeling of death comes down on Dumbledore, who looks shocked, fear in his eyes as aura surrounds Rimuru, and the feeling of that Dumbledore is experiencing increases. Rimuru. I've had enough of your attempts to get into my head. My secrets and everything I know are not for you. Understand this, old man. I'm leaving soon, so I have no reason to hold myself back anymore. I won't have to worry about people's opinion here anymore. As the color leaves Dumbledore's face, his eyes widen as he realizes all his attempts to get into Rimuru's head Rimuru knew about, and the only reason Rimuru didn't do anything then was because he was stuck here. Fear, that's all Dumbledore is feeling, fear of a being who is producing a aura so powerful Dumbledore would think he's a god, fear that he's been too pushy and is now going to die for it, fear of death, something he would be ready for if it came to it, yet now.
This pressure coming off Rimuru has him rethinking every decision he's ever made, and then nothing, the feeling of fear disappeared and the aura and pressure along with it, or perhaps it's the other way around, that the feeling of fear disappeared because the aura and pressure disappeared.
Rimuru. Now let's have a talk, no underhanded tactics from you, understand? Dumbledore nods, sweat still pouring off his forehead. Dumbledore. Of course You have my apologies for trying to get into your head. Rimuru. Don't just tell me what you want, Dumbledore. I wish to ask you to stay. Voldemort likely escaped after your battle and we need you to stop. Rimuru. Stop right there, Voldemort is dead, I killed him and I got rid of his Horcruxes too, so you don't need to worry about that. However, I want something from you. Dumbledore. My boy, I'm sure you think you killed him, but he's slippery. Rimuru. Oh, for the love of, do you want me to prove it? Rimuru drops Voldemort's broken wand onto the ground as it rolls to a stop just at Dumbledore's feet. Rimuru. If that's not proof enough, then I have a few more things. Dumbledore's eyes widen at this statement, shocked that maybe Voldemort really is dead. If that's the case, could what Rimuru know, could what Harry came back with all this power, the knowledge of another world, be the power Voldemort knows? Not if that's the case, maybe just one more try to look into Rimuru's head wouldn't hurt. Dumbledore looks into Rimuru's eyes but quickly backs out of this idea. Dumbledore. I see, and what is it you want? Rimuru raises his hand as a dark cloud extends to the floor as it soon dissipates, leaving behind the body of Harry Potter. Rimuru. Be sure to let this me have a good burial, alright? I'd rather my old body not get stolen again. Dumbledore nods his head, understanding how that could upset someone. Rimuru. Alright, I think we're done here, see ya. Rimuru turns and leaves, leaving Dumbledore with a dead body of a boy he let down years ago. The next day, Rimuru is standing in the room he's been staying in for this entire tournament, thinking luckily there's now one to interrupt his thoughts, as the only one with him right now is Seal, as Ultima and Carrera went with Diablo to pick up the things out of the Potter vault and Manners after Seal brought it to Rimuru's attention that he somehow still had Manners and accounts. Rimuru. Wonder what it would have been like if I hadn't died that night. Seal hugs Rimuru from behind, having separated just for this. Seal. We may not have been brought together, it may sound selfish of me, husband, but I am happy to be a part of you. Rimuru grabs a hold of Ciel's arms and then pulls out of the hug so he can turn around as his arms wrap around Ciel and he pulls her close, and he is now holding a blushing Ciel at the closeness of their faces. Rimuru. It may be strange, but I'm happy I died too. Cause if I didn't I wouldn't have what I have now, and as for being selfish, Ciel. Do you mind if I'm selfish for a moment? Ciel looks up at Rimuru as Rimuru brings his face closer to Ciel as she brings her face closer, their lips a mere inch apart before the door flies open with Veldora, who apparently went to Japan to get any manga he could. Rimuru and Ciel glare at Veldora, who sweat drops. Veldora. Am I interrupting something? Both. Yes. Veldora. Oh, the others are ready when you are. A sigh from both Rimuru and Ciel as the two let go of one another. Time skip. Rimuru stand outside of the school, a portal ready for them as they are ready to leave as students and teachers surround the group, all of them saying goodbye. Rimuru. Weird, didn't really interact with any of them, why the hell are they acting so sad? Ciel. Likely because they just got the boys who lived back and he is now leaving again. Rimuru sighs at this. Rimuru. You've got to be kidding me. That's when two people come running through the crowd. Rimuru looks at the two, being serious, and Remus serious. Wait. Please let me come along. Remus. As he means this. Rimuru. You do realize my world is a lot different, right? You may not like it there, and if you do come and don't like it, you won't be able to just leave. Serious. We weren't there for you when we should have been, please let us go. Rimuru. Well. Rimuru sighs to himself. Rimuru. What do you think, Ciel? Will this affect the time difference like it did for me and Chloe and technically you? Ciel. I do not believe so, because it was an incomplete summoning spell that called us here. Rimuru. So Ciel. Let them come, giving a mental nod. Rimuru looks at Sirius and Remus. Rimuru. Fine, you guys can come, just behave and don't freak out. Both right, Rimuru. And you don't do anything too crazy there either, just trust me on this. Dumbledore. Rimuru looks to Dumbledore. I am sorry. For everything. Rimuru. Sigh, it's a little late for apologizes. But I'll accept it. So don't worry too much about it well later. And with this they leave through the portal which closes once on the other side back in Tempest. Rimuru is happy to be home as everyone is celebrating at his return as well as the return of the others.
Remus. Rimuru. Yeah, what's up? Remus. Where exactly are we?
Rimuru. The Jura Tempest Federation, the main city named Rimuru. Basically think of it as a kingdom with me as a king, a place where monsters and humans can live together. Sirius. What is this? Sirius holds up a mask that looks like Rimuru's slime form. Rimuru. Oh, it's just me. Rimuru then turns into a slime, shocking both Sirius and Remus. Rimuru. Sorry to keep it a secret, but I'm a slime. Don't worry though, I'm not a bad slime. Slurp. Sirius passes out and Remus is in complete shock. Rimuru. Hey Rigard, can you show these two around? Oh, and Remus, be sure to tell Sirius he has to work. Got it, and you do as well later. Rimuru then leaves as everyone who was stuck in the other world stretch and begin to do what is expected of them except for Chloe, who has other plans. Chloe. I'm going to go get some lunch. That's what Rimuru hears before he escapes back to his own home, sitting on the couch as a slime before something separates from Rimuru and picks him up, seeing Seal in human form. Rimuru. Seal. May we continue where we left off now that we are alone? Rimuru turns into his human form. Rimuru. You're being pretty bold, aren't you? Rimuru smiles as he brings Seal close. Seal. Perhaps. And with this the two lean in close before their lips collide in a passionate kiss as Rimuru holds Seal close and Seal hugs Rimuru even tighter, bringing him closer to her as well. Unknown to the two of them, or rather unknown to Rimuru but known to Seal, a stray Veldora is sneaking away. Veldora. I'll just come back later. Ciel's voice echoes through Veldora head. Seal. You are not to come back for the rest of the day, and you are to keep others away as well. Understood. Veldora jumps at the sudden voice in his head, but also in fear of what may happen if he fails to follow these orders, and so Veldora immediately gets ready to keep everyone away even if he must fight to do it, while on the inside a giddy Seal and Rimuru have fallen onto the couch but still hold the other tightly, home at last, but even more at home in each other's arms. Special. Proposal, a special made by my bored, tired brain. Hope you like it. Rimuru is sitting in his office leaning back in his chair, left alone, no paperwork left to do, and so it's here he begins to think. Rimuru. Hey Seal. Yes Rimuru. Could you not read my thoughts for a day? There's something I want to think about privately. Seal. But husband, am I not your partner? Have I perhaps done something wrong? Please let me fix whatever mistake I have made and continue to help you. Rimuru. No, stop, you've done nothing wrong. It's a surprise for you, but I don't want you reading my thoughts as I've had hell keeping it from you, so please do this for me. Seal. Sad. Alright Rimuru. Don't be too sad, I promise you'll be happy when it happens. Seal and Rimuru end up reaching agreement and Seal stops herself from reading Rimuru thoughts just as Diablo enters the room. Rimuru. Diablo, what are you doing here? Diablo. Well Rimuru-sama, I thought back to when you introduced me to the old wizard Dumbledore and decided I shall do my utmost to truly be one hell of a butler. However, all I have managed to so far is handle preparing tea for you as well as some food. I also cleaned both your home and every room here save for this room, as not to interrupt you. Rimuru. Well. Damn Rimuru. That's impressive. I'll have the tea and snack, but I got some stuff I need to take care of after. Diablo gives a small bow, getting Rimuru both his meal and drink. Shuna. Rimuru-sama, I brought your. Shuna stares at Diablo, her eyes narrowing, seeing Diablo giving Rimuru food and tea. Rimuru. You didn't tell Shuna, did you? 5 seconds later Rimuru is sneaking out as Diablo is being told off by Shuna for taking one of her favorite jobs, making it to the outside. Rimuru sighs to himself, now allowing himself to think more about what to say. Serious. Hey Rimuru, over here Rimuru. Sigh, damn it. Rimuru. Hey, how's it going Remus? Well enough, we've just met up for lunch, why don't you join us? Rimuru. Well, I would like to really, but I got something I gotta do. Serious. Can't even have a lunch break Rimuru. Sorry, but it's really important to me, I'll see y'all later. Rimuru takes off running, avoiding everyone who would stop him to talk as what he's thinking about is too important. Hours later Rimuru has found the perfect place. The sun is setting and he has just enough time to say what he wants to and get his answer, as well as several flowers around. Rimuru can say for sure this place is beautiful. Rimuru. Seal, can you come out please? Seal separates from Rimuru, turning to face him as she looks into his eyes with a small yet loving smile. Rimuru swears he blushes. Rimuru. Seal. You really are the best, you know that. Seal looks at Rimuru as Rimuru continues. Rimuru. Not only that, you're my partner, the partner who's been with me longer than anyone else, and you're always trying to help me. You know I wouldn't have gotten anything done if it wasn't for you. Seal. I do not believe that. You would have found a way to do it all even without me. Rimuru. You say that, but I for one don't believe it. Having you by my side, I don't think in any of my lives have I been happier, which is why I want to ask you to. Well, I want you to marry me. Seal looks surprised before she speaks. Seal. We are already married. Rimuru. Well, yay, but I mean we should have a ceremony for all to see so that everyone knows who my heart belongs to and who it will always belong to, so, will you? Seal swears. She blushes, but she also smiles brightly as the setting sun in the background seems to, in Rimuru's eyes, make Seal even more beautiful. Seal. Yes, husband, let's have a wedding. Rimuru looks shocked then happy, and finally he's holding Seal and spinning before stopping as the two stare into each other's eyes. Seal. Husband. As far as I'm concerned, we are already married and will be married for eternity, but I admit my desire for the others to know that my husband is taken and is happy, and as you have said, your heart belongs to me. For me, my heart and soul belong to you. The two stare into each other's eyes before their faces begin to move closer inch by inch before finally a kiss, one that feels like it lasts for eternity and one that they don't want to break. But Seal has a question, so reluctantly she pulls away, and so does Rimuru. Seal. Husband. From looking at your memories, isn't there supposed to be a ring? Rimuru. Look at your finger. Seal does so, seeing a beautiful ring on her finger as she looks back up at Rimuru, seeing a smug smile, not one to be beat. Seal kisses Rimuru again, then pulls away in the distraction, putting a ring on his finger as Rimuru notices now it's Seal's turn to be smug. Rimuru. Seal. Husband, may I do something? Rimuru. Yes sir. Seal jumps on Rimuru as the two fall to the ground, Seal holding Rimuru close as Rimuru returns the gesture. They can plan the wedding later. For now, Rimuru just wants to hold Seal, and Seal wants to stay by her husband's side. End.